Hello folks, shintigercurl here, that dude in the straw hat, bringing you yet another wrestling review. I'm of course joined by my roommate and Zach Pack member, Joe. Say hi, Joe. Come on, Joe, say hi. Oh. He's a little mad because Zack Ryder wasn't on Raw tonight. And yes, it's time to review Raw. It's a special 3-hour All-Star edition of Raw. And it's hosted by none other than Stone Cold Steve Austin. How does it fare? I got my notes. Let's get started. The Miz comes out, and he of course says that he is the greatest all-star in the history of the business, and he calls out Stone Cold Steve Austin. Still a little miffed that he got a stunner last week. Stone Cold comes out, and he effectively takes control of the promo, calling Miz a little mealy-mouthed bastard. Pretty much just rips him a new one. And he says that since he and Alex Riley, whom Stone Cold says that he has more respect for Riley since he took an ass whooping from him, says that they'll settle their problems in Piper's Pit. Miz gets thrown out. He kind of dares him to strike at him, but Miz knows better not to mess with Stone Cold. He's not going to catch a stunner. Anyway, next up, Alberto Del Rio comes out, bragging about how he's the greatest champion of his generation, even though he hasn't had won a belt. Stone Cold says that he needs to get his comeuppance since he did run over the Big Show. So tonight, he'll be in the first match, which will be against Kane. This was a pretty decent match, as much as you can get out of Kane and Alberto Del Rio. It's not a technical masterpiece, but it's good for what it was. The finish comes when Alberto Del Rio locks in the cross arm breaker, but Kane makes it to the ropes. Unfortunately for Del Rio, he doesn't break the hold and he gets DQ'd. Wow, someone gets DQ'd for breaking the rules. Take some notes, TNA. Well, I'm not here to rant about TNA. Anyway, then the Big Show comes out. And he starts, and then he breaks up the hold, but then Ricardo Rodriguez gets involved. But in the end, he eats a couple of hard shots to the face, knocking him right the fuck out. He was so enraged that Kane had to hold him back. That's kind of weird, don't you think? Anyway, Stone Cold says that this Sunday at Capital Punishment, it will be Alberto Del Rio versus the Big Show. Not looking good for you, ADR. Next, we get a 6-man tag from SmackDown. Daniel Bryan, Big Zeke, Ezekiel Jackson, and Sin Cara versus Dr. Doom, Cody Rhodes, Wade Barrett, and Ted DeBlandness. This is a pretty good match. Despite Ted being still boring, it had some pretty good spots in it for what it was worth. Big Zeke got a big pop for just doing those back-to-back body slams. And the end comes when Sin Cara does a flying cross-body on on Wade Barrett. 1, 2, 3, the faces win. I will also note that during this match they had Sin Cara's lighting for him. I don't know what to think about that. Next up, next segment, Hornswoggle is giving out T-shirts and shooting them with the little T-shirt gun until R-Truth comes out. Truth, being batshitting crazy as we know he is now, starts talking about, "You can trust me, Lil Jimmy. Yes, your name is Lil Jimmy. I'm a good R-Truth." Hornswoggle says, "Nah," and hits him in the and shoots a shirt in his stomach, which does nothing. Truth starts to get in his ass, but then he relents and says, "Nah, that was okay, I'll let you go." Then he starts beating the crap out of Hornswoggle. Stone Cold appears on the Titantron and says that tonight, before he gets to John Cena, he has to get through the sexy. That's right, John Morrison is back, and he's looking for payback. Truth decides that's okay. He would have to go through Hornswoggle again, and kicks Hornswoggle. King comes in for the rescue, but Truth leaves. Next up, Santino Marella versus Sheamus. Now, this was actually a pretty solid match. Like I've said before, despite him being considered a joke wrestler, Santino can wrestle. The end comes when Santino goes for the Cobra, hits it, but Sheamus completely no-sells it. He hits the bro kick, and then surprisingly busts out the Texas Cloverleaf. Dean Malenko is going to be mad about that. Santino taps out. Next segment, Randy Orton comes out to a big pop. Still kind of weird him slapping hands with the fans. After some technical difficulties with mics, he says that he's calling out Christian, at first promising that he wouldn't hurt him, but then he goes back and says he will hurt him. Christian says that he's not coming out there because he basically says the truth. He says that Randy Orton was basically hand-fed everything in the business. He's a third-generation wrestler. He was aligned with some of the biggest in Evolution, one of the biggest groups in WWE history. So he says that, and Christian says that he had to work for everything he had. Randy fires back saying that why don't you get Edge to carry you here? He's carried you for the last 16 years. Christian comes out, but decides not to get in the ring with Randy. Randy rushes Christian, but stopped by some FCW security. The Raw general manager chimes in, says that while he can't do anything tonight, he can warn Randy that since he has a concussion due to the attacks that he suffered at the hands of Christian, he's got a concussion. So if he didn't stop, he would be stripped of the title. So Randy walks back. Stone Cold chimes in and says that Christian's going to have action tonight, and he's going to go up against Rey Mysterio. So next match, Christian versus Rey Mysterio, and for the rest of the night, Booker T will be joining us on commentary. Black Snow. It was an okay match. It wasn't very long. It ends with Christian holding on the top ropes too long, doing an illegal choke for too long, and the ref disqualifies him. He starts to beat up on Rey, but Rey fights back, only to get stopped by the new Nexus. Long story short, Rey gets beaten down by Welsh Tista, and Christian picks the bones and beats the crap out of him. Kill switch. Go Christian. Next up, we get a backstage segment with Vicky Guerrero, Dolph Ziggler, and Stone Cold. Vicky demands that Dolph get a U.S. title shot against Kofi at Capital Punishment this Sunday. Stone Cold replies that he'll only do it if Dolph leaves Vicky, to which Dolph agrees. Unfortunately for Vicky, Stone Cold already made the match, so he was just being a dick to them. Dick. Next up, Truth versus John Morrison. We didn't get much of a match since Truth came out, but Morrison didn't come out for some reason. Truth runs to the back, and he sees Morrison. And in his complete batshit insane way, he acts like his best friend and tries to help him up, only to run him over with a dumpster. And then he looks over with a crazed look in his eye. Take that, little Jimmy! And runs off. Crazy Truth is awesome, but why can't we have any pretty things in the WWE? Next up, we have a tag match. Dolph Ziggler and Jack Swagger versus Evan Don't Call Me Matt Sydal Bourne and Kofi Kingston. Pretty standard tag match. Very good. Evan hits Airborne on Swagger. 1, 2, 3. The Feasts win. Next up, we get Piper's Pit. Now, I wasn't able to hear Piper's Pit because of some audio issues. It sounded like a great promo, but it was a Piper's Pit with Alex Riley and The Miz. And somewhere along the way, a match got made between Piper versus Miz with Alex Riley as referee. Don't expect too much out of this match since Piper is kind of old. Is old, really, and he's still suffering from, and he's had hip replacement surgery, so wouldn't expect out a technical match. Long story short, Riley beats up The Miz. Piper gets the schoolboy. 1, 2, 3. Piper wins. Next up, Divas match. And there were so many divas, I didn't even have space to write them all. Needless to say, the Faces win, and we get a stupid can-can dance based off the Rockettes. 9 more months. 9 more months. Next up, Stone Cold drives out with his ATV, saying how he had such a good time this week as Raw General Manager, when the Raw General Manager chimes in. Cole gets up there, scared like a little bitch, and the Raw General Manager says that next week he will be back in control. Stone Cold says that since next week is another 3-hour Raw, that next week they will put the power into the people's hands. All the matches will be decided on and thought up by the fans. So it's basically Cyber Sunday for them. Anyway, the general manager keeps chiming in, and Stone Cold says, "If that damn chime wins one more time, I'm gonna beat your little ass." He's like, "I didn't do it. It's not me." So Stone Cold chases Michael Cole out of the arena. And he gets the laptop, gets some beers, carries it to the entrance ramp, and gives the Raw General Manager a nice little beer bath before running it over repeatedly with his ATV. There you go. I love you, Stone Cold. Final match. Oh yeah, we had another one of those lame capital punishment commercials. The only thing good about this is that Dr. Doom, Cody Rhodes, and Christian were in it, so watch it for them. Last match, CM Punk versus John Cena. Now this was the pop that had the biggest pop of all the matches, as the crowd was split for Cena and Punk. It was a good match, mostly because Punk was carrying it most of the way. Cena was the typical get beat up, no sell everything, and then fight back because he's Super Saiyan Jesus Bankai Cena. Level 2. Anyway, it looks like Cena's on his way to another victory when R-Truth appears out of the crowd, sees another little Jimmy, and offers him a drink of water, and prepares to spit in his face. Cena is distracted enough that Punk hits the GTS and picks up the win. Hail Punk. Then, as Cena is staggered back to the ring, Truth jumps in the ring, hits him with the most dangerous weapon known to professional wrestling, the bottle of water. Don't believe me? I got a bottle of water right here, and don't make me use it. But anyway, he hits the bottle of water, then hits the lie detector, I think it was, and tells Cena that he will be beating him at the capital punishment for the belt. And that's the truth. So that was the All-Star edition of Raw. My thoughts? Pretty good Raw. It lagged a bit in places, but the matches were very solid. Stone Cold was a joy to have on the show, as usual. A lot of pop moments for you. Great promos. It lagged a bit in some places, but that promo between Austin and Punk, fucking gold. So if you're gonna watch it for that. What, you got anything to say, Joe? He's still mad that Zack Ryder didn't get on Raw, and it was in Long Island. What? He's still upset. Well, anyway, that was Monday Night Raw. And that was my review for Monday Night Raw. Tune in this Thursday when I attempt to review Thursday Night Impact. Can they recover from that debacle of a title match? I'm not even going to talk about it. It'll just send me on a little rant, and I don't have much time left. But anyway, this is shintigercurl, that dude in the straw hat, and Joe. Okay, maybe not Joe. He's still pissed for Zack Ryder. But yeah, that's us. And we're telling you, see you next time, and so on.